Have you ever noticed how some people are always present online? You read their comments, you listen to their stories, you recognize their way of thinking, and yet you have no idea what they look like. No face, no selfies, no personal photos, and strangely enough, after some time, you stop caring about their appearance and start trusting their voice instead. We live in a time where showing your face is almost expected, where not posting photos can feel suspicious, as if you are doing something wrong, hiding something, or avoiding the world. But the truth is much simpler and much deeper, because people who never post their photos often understand something very important about attention, identity, and personal boundaries. Many of them once tried to be visible. They posted pictures, shared moments, smiled for the camera, and waited for reactions, but at some point they noticed how quickly the focus shifted from who they were to how they looked, how opinions appeared instantly, and how a single image was enough for strangers to decide what kind of person they were. One man said that after he stopped posting photos, people began listening to him more carefully, they asked more questions, they argued with his ideas instead of judging his appearance, and for the first time, he felt that he was being heard, not evaluated. Another example is a woman who works in a creative field. She realized that once her face became part of her online presence, every post was interpreted through her looks, her age, her expressions, but when she removed her photos, her work finally started speaking for itself, without distraction. People who choose not to show their face often value privacy not because they are afraid, but because they understand how easily personal space disappears online, how fast images travel, how permanent they become, and how difficult it is to take something back once it has been shared. They also understand that attention is addictive, that likes can quietly change your behavior, your tone, even your opinions, and by stepping away from visual validation, they protect their inner stability and stay more honest with themselves. Some of these people are highly confident in real life, they speak openly, they connect deeply, but they simply do not feel the need to turn their identity into content, because their sense of self does not depend on being constantly seen. There is also a strong element of control in this choice. When you do not post your photos, you decide when and with whom you share your image, and this control creates a sense of calm that many visible people secretly envy. As you continue listening, you may start recognizing these patterns in yourself or in people around you, and you may realize that not showing your face is not about disappearing, but about choosing what truly matters. We live in a time when presence is measured by visibility. The more we post, the more we share, the more people can see us, the more validation we receive, or at least, we think we do. Yet, in the quiet corners of the internet, there are those who remain unseen. They do not post photos, they do not share their faces, and sometimes they do not even reveal much about their personal lives. And strangely, in this absence, they gain something most visible people are chasing: focus. Attention not on appearances, but on ideas, on voice, on thought. Think about the last time you truly listened to someone online. Not their selfies, not their stories about their weekend, not the carefully curated snapshots of a life designed to impress, but the actual substance of what they said. Chances are, it came from someone who did not constantly show their face. Someone who understood that the core of communication is not in the visuals, but in the connection between minds. Many of us forget that communication is multi-layered. Our eyes are naturally drawn to faces, to expressions, to gestures, to the nuances of body language. But when those layers are removed, when we cannot rely on visual cues, we are forced to engage more deeply. We pay attention to the words, the tone, the rhythm, the meaning behind the sentences. In this way, faceless voices can create a more intimate, more honest dialogue. Consider the story of a man who used to post everything about himself. Photos, vacations, parties, milestones. He watched as the world reacted to his looks, his style, his age. Compliments came, criticism came, and slowly, he realized that people were reacting to a curated image of him rather than who he truly was. One day, he decided to stop. No more photos, no more visible updates. And he noticed a remarkable change. People began listening. They asked questions, debated ideas, shared perspectives. His thoughts mattered more than his appearance, and for the first time, he felt truly heard. Or think of the woman in the creative field who shared her work online. As long as her face was visible, every post, every piece, every achievement was interpreted through the lens of her appearance. She looks young, can she really be experienced? Is she attractive enough to take her seriously? How does her face influence her work? But when she stepped away from the camera, when her photos disappeared, her art spoke. People discussed the concepts, the execution, the creativity itself. Her ideas became the focus, not her image. This is not about fear. It is not about hiding. It is about understanding the dynamics of attention, identity, and boundaries. People who choose to remain faceless understand that attention is addictive. Likes, comments, shares, they subtly influence behavior, tone, and even beliefs. By stepping back from visual validation, these individuals protect their inner equilibrium. They maintain a sense of authenticity because their identity does not depend on constant approval. In a society obsessed with appearance, choosing invisibility is a radical form of self-respect. It allows people to define themselves not by the perception of others, but by the essence of who they are. It is an assertion that ideas, creativity, and character deserve to be noticed first. And in a way, those who do not show their faces teach us an important lesson, that sometimes, the deepest connections happen not through sight, but through listening. As we reflect on this, we may begin to recognize similar patterns in ourselves. Perhaps we feel drained by the constant demand to be visible. Perhaps we have noticed how quickly attention shifts from what we say to how we look while saying it. Perhaps we are seeking a quieter, more meaningful presence online. Choosing when and how to be seen, or choosing not to be seen at all, is not a disappearance. It is a deliberate focus on what truly matters: thought, connection, and authenticity. And there is another subtle power in this choice: control. By controlling visibility, you control the narrative. You decide when, how, and with whom you share your image. This control creates calm, a sense of safety, and a freedom that visible people often envy without even realizing it. It allows for creativity without distraction, dialogue without superficial judgment, and presence without pressure. In conclusion, the act of choosing invisibility is more than just an online strategy. It is a philosophy. It is a way of honoring your own mind and your own voice above external expectations. It is a reminder that true engagement comes from understanding, that respect is earned through ideas, not appearances, and that freedom often lies in choosing what not to show. So, as you continue your journey online, take a moment to reflect. Listen more than you judge. Read more than you scroll. Engage with substance rather than image. And remember that the power of your presence is not defined by how often you are seen, but by how deeply you are heard. If you found this reflection meaningful, if it gave you a moment to think differently about attention, identity, or presence, please consider showing your support. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more thoughtful content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and for spending this time exploring ideas with me today. Your attention is appreciated more than you know.